Hey everybody, Destin Legare here with Max Scoville.
Hey.
We're both really excited after that Cyberpunk 2077 reveal on Microsoft stage, but some people are a little nervous. Max, why should people give CD Projekt RED their faith?
So we obviously advise people to be, skeptical of games when they're shown off in a big sizzly trailer like that, but I think at this point CD Projekt RED has earned our trust. If you look at sort of their track record with the Witcher games, the first one was practically just a mod of a BioWare game, and then The Witcher 2 improved on that a ton, and The Witcher 3 is arguably one of the best RPGs ever made, an incredible, huge, sprawling world. And if you look at how they unveiled that, they showed that off with a big CG trailer, which a lot of people were skeptical of, which is reasonable because it's not really reflective of the actual game, but then the actual game delivered. And they've been very transparent about what they're doing with Cyberpunk, and this is actually using the game's engine. This is in-engine footage, which is a big step up from the kind of CG trailers we got with The Witcher. And also, it's based on an existing framework of a game. Like it's the source material is there to work with. We still don't know a whole lot of what they're doing, but I think that's good because it's keeping people's expectations guarded.
Yeah, and we're going to Night City, and there's a lot of violence there, as we saw in the trailer. That's got me very excited. I want to run into these dramatic moments and figure out how I'm going to deal with that as a player. How do you think you'll handle when you see some dude getting mugged on the subway?
I mean, I'm probably going to kick some ass. They've shown off if you look at sort of the history of Cyberpunk, there are a bunch of different roles. I believe, and they've said this kind of hintingly in interviews here and there. I think this is a game where you just create a character from the ground up. This isn't like your Geralt of Cyberpunk Rivia or whatever. Like this is you being you and picking a role and picking the kind of character you want to play. And I don't know how deep that's going to get, but I'm really excited about that level of customization. And people are looking at the trailer and kind of comparing it to like GTA, for instance, being like, it looks like 80s Cyberpunk GTA. That's not necessarily a bad thing. This is going to be an RPG. This is going to be very, very deep and very crunchy and very mechanical. And I'm looking forward to that. So, getting effectively a Cyberpunk GTA 5 that has an incredibly deep customization system, what's wrong with that?
A futuristic world where you can make your own character with RPG elements, I'm sold. I was sold before this trailer was revealed. Some people are a little worried about how colorful it is, though. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm fine with it.
I was actually wary that the original sort of CG reveal trailer we got with the cyborg lady with knife hands getting shot in the face, I thought that was too gritty. I thought that leaned very, too heavily into the sort of the Blade Runner, Deus Ex approach, which those are both wonderful things. Those are wonderful examples of Cyberpunk. But the thing is, if you're taking kind of original, classic 1980s William Gibson, Mike Pondsmith Cyberpunk and trying to modernize it, you are creating a future that we've already surpassed. Like, that made sense as a vision of the future back in the early 80s, mid 80s, but now we're like, we already have smartphones. We have cybernetics and things like that. We have cyberspace. So to try to create this sort of disingenuous version of the future is missing the point. So rather than do that, it's almost like they're making a futuristic fantasy that's kind of playing up the camp and the color and the sort of the kitschiness of what 80s Cyberpunk was.
Definitely. You brought up William Gibson. He is actually concerned about this game, or he had his own take. What do you think about that?
So William Gibson, author of Neuromancer and then, plenty of other great
renowned
books after
author.
that. Yeah, the godfather of Cyberpunk, as it were. Great Dismal on Twitter. He said that it just looked like GTA 5 with kind of 80s generic Cyberpunk theme slapped over it. I don't think that he played The Witcher 3. I'll give him that. I don't think he was trying to be too disrespectful. He's just sort of like, this is my takeaway. And to be fair, this doesn't look like a game in action. It looks like a GTA 5 trailer with some 80s Cyberpunk themes. So I'm with him on that. Obviously, Mike Pondsmith's RPG took a lot from sort of the Sprawl trilogy that Gibson wrote, but it was, I don't know. I mean, I think that it was more playful. It was more of like, obviously more playful. It's a game rather than an entirely built up world. And since then, Gibson's had kind of different iterations of futurism. He did the Sprawl trilogy. He did the Bridge trilogy. He's got a new book now called The Peripheral, which is basically a future from where we are now. And it's nothing like Neuromancer. It's completely off in a different direction because things have changed since then.
Yeah, totally. Max, thank you so much for joining me today to talk a little bit about Cyberpunk. Thank you all for joining us, and for more on all things gaming, keep it right here on IGN.